I'm gonna share a bit about Convolo dialer and why people love it. There are a lot of dialers in the market: auto dialers, power dialers, predictive dialers, a lot of names, and sometimes people don't even know what those names mean, and they just heard something somewhere and so on. And a lot of times people are kind of frustrated with their dialers, and one of the big reasons is actually that the companies creating the dialers have been very focused on technical features, and we saw a problem there because we want to focus on the workflows, making it work for the people using the dialer and making it smooth to put information into the dialer and then take it out from the dialer to another system. So there's something you do before you use the dialer, and there's something you do after using the dialer, and that needs to be really smooth. And especially with integrations, what happens is everybody has an integration with all systems, or with Salesforce and with HubSpot and with 500 plus apps through their Zapier integration. But it's not about having an integration. It's about having an integration that is flexible enough to actually be able to provide the workflow that the company needs to. And that's where we've focused a lot on the customizability of making sure that every field is connected to the API, and the integration is flexible enough to actually be able to map any field in our system with any field in the other system. And it kind of sounds like a simple thing, it felt so natural to us when we were building it, but we noticed that that's a big problem with integrations that kind of are there, but they're not really doing what you want them to do. But let's get back to the basics and think about how the Convolo dialer is built up and how you set up the projects and what you can do there. And I'll just go through some of the basics and touch on some scenarios that we hear from a lot of people. So the foundation is that you create a project in the Convolo dialer, and here's one project, and we've just imported a list here. You see the fields, and just really important that you decide which fields should be here based on the file you import or the data you push into our system through a webhook API. Just like an example, we can we can push in contacts from a HubSpot workflow directly into our Convolo dialer, and the same thing can be done from other systems, but that's just a really smooth way to make sure the correct contacts are in the dialer. I'll get to something later to show you as well, where we have something we call the synced project, where when you push a contact in from HubSpot, or you have a list in HubSpot that we sync towards, then it will always be the same in that list in HubSpot and that list in the Convolo dialer, which is amazing when you want to do follow-up calls, for example. You just can open up your dialer and just press play, and you know it's exactly the contacts you need there because it's based on some filtering or some factors that you have set up to create the list inside your CRM. But when we have created the list here, we can also choose which of these fields should be shown in the dialer when people are dialing. So there are some fields that you might not want to show. You don't want to distract the caller or distract the person going through a power dialing section with fields that they don't need to see, right? So you choose what should be seen, what's important for them during the call. You might have some other fields that are just in here in the system so that we can push it forward to another system after the call, but you don't show it to the person dialing. And when we open up the project, we have a name, obviously, and you can assign agents or teams. So you can have 5 people in a team. You just assign the team, and everybody in that team will get access to the project. And then we have the different results that can be tracked after each call. We kind of force the person dialing to just quickly press a tag representing the result of that call after each call. Super simple, but we have divided that into negative, neutral, positive. What we want to get to is either a positive result means we don't need to call them again because we have some, some next step already. Or a negative result, which means we don't need to call them anymore because we know that we should not call them again. So, and maybe we have another process where we need to, we just push them into our nurturing system with just sending them emails or automatic texts or something like that. So, and then we have the neutral results, is where we don't reach them, we reach a voicemail, we should call back later. All of the neutral results mean basically we need to call them again. So that's just like a red, yellow, green, makes it pretty simple. You also have extra tags where, for example, a way that many users or many companies use that is they have a request coaching tag, where basically on any call where the person calling feels that they want some extra coaching from their manager. So before they put the main result, they just tag it with request coaching, and then the manager can go in and just filter based on that tag and see the comments, like listen from 3 minutes into the call, and then they just quickly can go to that place in the recording and listen through, give feedback, and just makes it easier to go through the coaching quickly and do it in the right way. And then we have the cadence. So the cadence is built out by first saying, like, if the first call is neutral, delay by how much. So maybe we want to call right away, let's say in 1 minute again. And then for call two, we want to actually wait for 2 hours here. Call three, then we say we have called already 3 times the first day, so we want to wait until the next day. So we put 10 hours here to go to the next day, but then we want to actually call them like right away after 1 minute after. So we do want to make a double call here. So we just put 1 minute here, and then, but after that, we want to wait for 2 hours. Then after that, we want to wait until the next day. So we put like 12 hours here. 12 hours can go here as well. And then we want to, after that, we want to wait for 1 hour and then 1 hour here, or maybe 2 hours before the next call here. So this way we can actually set up like a cadence of 20 calls over a 1 month period, which is something that we just did with one of our clients now. And or you can put 100 calls here if you want to. And basically the rule would be that you would just kind of, instead of 12 here, maybe you would put 72, because you want to wait 3 days or so on, and you can just kind of spread them out more. But totally customizable, you decide. And you can also decide how long you want to link a contact to a specific agent. So this is something where when there are follow-up calls, for example, it's kind of annoying if like we want to have, if I have 1,000 contacts on a list, we want 5 agents to go into that list and just call through all of them, not necessarily assigning 100 or 200 to each agent, because we don't know who will call the most or so on. So, but we can say like, well, if the follow-up call is within a week, which is or let's say within 10 days, so that's 240 hours, right? Then I want the same agent to call this person. But if it's more than 10 days out, the follow-up, I don't really care who does that follow-up call. So let's just give it to anybody who is available. Okay, so, and then after a neutral result, we can put a text message here, and we're making this where you can have, building this out as well, so you can have different templates for different calls and so on. But as of now, it's just a simple text message, like after each neutral result. But basically, already now, if you want to have some different templates there, we can build that out as well. We already have a version of the cadence here, including both voicemails and text messages in a beta version for our Convolo ambassadors, the people who get access early to new features and giving feedback and kind of just building that out so that it will be amazing. But this cadence is really, really powerful. So then when we save our project, when the person is ready to dial, they don't need to think about this. They don't need to log into the website here. They just have the dialer installed on their computer, and they just open it and press play. So you can see the project name over here, and then the person opening the dialer, they can decide, where do they want it on the screen. It's really like small, easy. to manage here. And what happens is, like, when it needs to, it expands a little bit here. For example, when you want to register a result, then to show all the tags, it just expands up, and when you press the result, it just goes down again. And the reason for that is that a lot of people told us that it's pretty cumbersome when the dialer is taking your whole a whole page in the browser, or it takes like half of your screen, and it's kind of like so much easier. A lot of people work on a laptop right now, and then just having it down here, and when then you can actually be on a website. You can be in the CRM. You can be on the website of that company. And we even use that so that every call that starts, we can have either we open up automatically the website of that company, or the contact card in the CRM of that contact, or the LinkedIn profile of that person you're calling, so that just like before they actually pick up, you have a few seconds to just see their website, see their LinkedIn profile, and you can just right away comment on that. Hey, I saw you studied over here, and you saw that on the LinkedIn. Or you say, oh, I love the post that you wrote about this, because you managed to see that just before they picked up. And that can be huge for how well you can connect with them and build that first report and take the conversation forward. But basically, the person starting to dial, they just choose which line they want to use. This can also be a local number, so we have a functionality for that actually increases the answer rate substantially when you just call every person with a local number. And they can also choose the device. So for example, if somebody calls them back, they can get that call back on the computer, on their dialer app, or they can actually have those calls transferred to their mobile, so that if people call back, those are usually pretty important calls, or pretty good close rate on those, and you might actually want to get them on your phone, even if you're not at the computer on your dialer app. You can send text messages from here. You can see the history over here in the app, but the basic flow is you just come to the dialer, open it up, you press play, the first call opens up, and you see the information about this company. And what happens is it shows their website, and then it shows like what happened on this call. Well, okay, let's say no answer, and then as soon as that is registered, it opens the website of the next company, and we can open this in the same tab. That's actually easier. And then you just go about it like that. Just register the result. You can add the comments during the call. You can add the comments after the call. It's all the same. And a really killer feature we're just adding now to a big client who just launched with like 80 users on the dialer, and they also use our Convolo Leads product and so on, but they use this for the Convolo dialer for their business development. And as soon as they put like custom fields down here. So we have the fields from the project, but we can also have custom fields where basically like a lead form or qualifying form that you can fill in, kind of like the comment field here, that you can just fill in with text over here as well. So we can add that, and then we have a transfer button, which basically is like a hot transfer. You can have it like a regular warm transfer where you choose to transfer to a specific person, but the real killer feature here is where we pre-program the transfer button. And what happens is the person just, when they're going through the script, when they understood that, hey, this person is actually qualified, they just press the transfer button. The client actually doesn't even hear anything. They don't even notice anything that you started a transfer. They just, in the background, Convolo starts calling on, let's say, 4 senior salespeople at the same time, or according to a specific routing rules, which this is what we do from our Convolo Leads product, and we're experts on that, right? So as soon as somebody picks up there, they get connected to the call, and they will see any comments and any information that was filled in the custom fields. They will see in real time right away on their dialer when they connect to the call. And this way, the person who is in the business development team, who's doing the basic qualifying, they they just continue the call while, they press the transfer button. They continue talking to the client. They continue driving the conversation. But as soon as they see that the senior person connected, they'll just say like, "Hey, you know what? I actually managed to get my senior colleague here on the call, and I thought like it would be the most convenient for you to just, if I could connect him right away, he can just, help you forward, move forward instead of me scheduling a call separately and you needing to wait for that." And that's a game changer. It's a game changer, and especially that senior colleague can see all the information right away. Any comment that was just written like 1 second before he connected, it's all there for him. That's a pretty. We just, closed our biggest deals. The deal. Basically based on that setup that it just has grown with what we learned from other users. So pretty cool functionality. When you're done with the power dialer here, power dialing session, you just press stop, and you put your result for the last call, and you're done. And all the information will be in the dashboard. The status of each contact is updated as you go on, but you also have full call statistics for every call. You can see all the comments that are left and all the statuses here. You can have a funnel here as well, where you can see, for example, for each team, or for specific agents, for certain time periods here, you can, or for specific projects, you can choose like for one team for these 3 projects, or for 3 teams for only this project, and you can track how many calls did we make during this week, for example. What was the answer rate specifically on that team or project? What was the through rate? How many conversations did we actually have? And what was the close rate? Basically, what we call the hit rate here is based on a positive result. And you can decide, you can customize what is the positive result, and it's based on the tags that you choose over here. So super nice to see this funnel and a simple overview. Another thing that has been super popular among our users is this kind of simple view, but it's like if you have here it's just 2 agents, but you can see from the morning to the evening, when did they actually make calls? When did they take breaks? When did they actually talk to somebody? When were they making just call attempts to actually try to reach somebody? So when you have more and more users that are dialing, this is such a valuable view where you can just you just open this up and you can instantly see how their day was. You can see how active they were, how much they were struggling to reach people, how much they were taking extra breaks that they don't need to take, and you can just at a glance in, a few seconds, just looking at this, who you need to call and what you need to talk to them about to coach them to better performance. So with this, I don't want to complicate things too much here. I just wanted to touch on some of these things that make people love the Convolo dialer. And last thing I wanted to show is also when you create a new project. Let me just show this, because here is where we have, let's say, new test project, and then you can add your different agents here, and then you see here is where you have you can choose the different types of projects, right? So a power dialer project is the usual way to do it, where you import an Excel or CSV file. You can also just start a project in general without importing, and then you can import later. That works as well. But the synced project here, also a game changer, where you can actually make sure that any list or any filtering that you have in the CRM can basically be put into the Convolo dialer, and the Convolo dialer will actually read in your CRM in real time, and then make sure to update the status of in your CRM, so that contacts will actually leave the list and be out of that filtering. And when a result is changed because of a call that was made with the Convolo dialer, and that sync is super super powerful. And basically, you just set it up here. You choose the mapping for like what the filtering should be, and this is different for the different CRMs that you have connected. But basically, in HubSpot, for example, you would just connect it with a list, and then all the filtering is actually done on the HubSpot side. In other CRMs, it might be that we just have the options for filtering on our end, because the filtering in the CRM is not that good, but it kind of works. It works the same way. So I hope you got a glance of some of the things that are powerful in the Convolo dialer. And once again, the best thing is that we can make the Convolo dialer really work like you want it to work for your workflow, for your company, for your team, to actually be as efficient as possible. So looking forward to talking more and getting on a dialogue, getting on a demo, maybe a call, just going through your specific situation, and that we can brainstorm with you and just think of like how can we set this up to just help you crush it with any targets that you have set up for your growth this year.